Today on Creating Joy, we are going to be learning how to make a linen bunny. Hi, welcome to Creating Joy. Today on Creating Joy, we are going to be learning how to make a linen bunny. This can be found on Etsy. It's from Bone Patterns. Okay, so if you want to make your own, you can go there and purchase your own copy of the pattern. It's digital and you can download it from there. So today for our linen bunny, we've chosen this white fabric. So once you get your fabric chosen, you need to go and iron it. And once you have it ironed, bring it on back, okay? So when you print out your pattern, you're going to have page 1, here's a 1, and page 2. You need to cut around it and then tape it right so these diamonds connect, okay? And then you'll have your full pattern. Then you need to cut out each piece. So this is the body for the bunny, and this is how you'll get the legs of the bunny. Once you have that all cut out, then take your fabric and put it over on the table. Here we have our fabric sitting on the table, and now I'm going to show you how to lay it out on your fabric. Okay, so here you can see each of the pieces. Let's discuss each one. So this is the body. It says to cut 2. This one it says to cut 2 opposites. So what I have done is I have my fabric is folded in half so that I can get my 2. This says to cut 2 opposites. So the fabric is against itself. If you have a pattern that you can see, then you want it to face each other. And that's how you're going to get 2 opposites, okay? Now this is a bunny arm pattern, and you have to cut 2 pairs. That means I'm going to cut it once, and then after I cut this one, I'm going to put it over here and cut it again because it's 2 pairs. Okay, this also, it says cut 2 pairs. So after I cut this one, then I will be sliding it over and cutting 2 more. So I'll have 4 of these and 4 of these. Okay, and 2 of these, 2 and 2. Now, if you notice, I did not have the head on there. The reason why, this is my last piece, it says cut 1. So after all of these are cut, then I will open up my fabric and I will do a single cut of this piece, okay? So go ahead and get your scissors and start cutting your fabric out. So when you're cutting your second piece of the ears, you need to decide if you want to have your ears be the same white, or if you want the inside to be pink or some other color. So this is the first bunny that I made, and you can see that I did do a contrasting color. So that's your choice. You could just do the same color. With my second one, I'm just gonna do the same color because it's going to be a boy bunny. So it's just going to be plain white. Here we have our 2 pairs of arms. Now that they are all cut out, you're going to go ahead and sew 1/4 of an inch around the whole thing. Remember to back stitch on both sides. Leave an opening because right here is where we're going to put the stuffing. Okay, so sew both of those, and then we'll come back and do the next piece. Now that it's all sewed, make sure you trim your strings. And this is when you get your pinking shears, and you're gonna go ahead and trim around all of it. When you trim, what this is doing is it's helping it so that it will round really well. Okay, and that's what we want. They're like little tiny cuts. So instead of having to do little snips all the way around, these scissors are doing it for you. So you want to make sure when you're cutting that you are not cutting on the thread. Otherwise you're going to have to re-sew it, and if you cut on the thread, you'll have a hole and your batting will come out and the whole entire thing will unstitch. If that does happen, then just, let's say the cut is right here, then you can just start here or here and back stitch and sew back over top and around and back stitch. You don't have to do the whole thing all over. You're just starting just a little ahead of the hole and a little after the hole, and that will be just fine, okay? Then you're going to start reversing it so that the right sides are out. You just take your fingers and start pushing it up. And then I like using my eraser to help push it. So you just make sure you have all of the edges out, and if you need to take a pin to pull it out, you can, but the eraser does a really good job. Okay, so remember, it's supposed to be skinny like this. This is the arm. So look in the distance, you can see the bunny's arms, and that's what we're doing right now. Okay, so now when you're sewing your body, you're gonna backstitch at the top, and you're gonna go down the legs. Then when you get to right here between the legs, you need to stop at the point and pivot. And put your needle down and then turn so that you don't have it rounded too much. Okay, so and you want your legs to be even. So try to get it right up the center. Otherwise, you're going to have one leg fatter than the other. Okay? A quick reminder, when you are sewing your body, remember in the directions it says to sew just about 1 inch down, then leave a space about 1.5 inches, and then start sewing again. And this is where your opening that you're going to stick your arms in. After you stuff your arms with batting, then you're going to stick them in this little hole inside, and then it's going to be sticking out to this edge, and then you're going to sew it all together. Okay, so remember to leave that little opening right there. So I decided to do a bunny that has a pattern on it. So this is one that I saw a sample of where they did pretty fabric. So I thought I would try that. So for those of you that are new at turning things right side out on small items, I'm going to show you a trick. So you can take a straight pin, and if it feels like it's stuck in there, so you can take it, you can help pull it out. And the pin helps pull the fabric out. Okay, so that's a little trick that I use. I also can take a pencil and take it and stuff it in also to help. And you use the eraser part, not the lead part. Okay, most of the time though, I'm using my trusty little pin to pull it out. Okay. Once you have your pieces reversed, now you're going to take it to your ironing board and iron them. Make sure that your seams are sticking out so it's even on the front and the back. Now that you have sewn the legs and you have connected in your arms, you're going to turn right side out, and this is what your body is going to look like. You're going to leave that empty and go ahead and let's go to our next part, which is going to be, we're going to sew the ears together, the right sides together, and then we're going to take the shears and go around it. Okay, so let's go do that and we'll come back. Once your ears are done, you're going to turn them right side out. Go ahead and press them. And now we're going to go ahead and push the ends inside like the directions say. And if you want to just take the sewing machine and go across, you can, or if you want to do it by hand like they do in the pattern, you can do that. Okay, so we're going to take this and fold it inside. So then you can finger press it with your fingernails. Okay, so it's even. And do the other one. So I'm just going to run my sewing machine over the edge. This part is not going to be seen when you sew it on. So for me, I just want something quick, so I'm just going to sew right along the very edge. Remember to backstitch. Okay. Okay, now we're going to work on the head. So the head's a tiny bit tricky. So we need the front head piece, right? And we need the two side head parts. So when you look at the actual pattern piece, it has an A and a B part, okay? So you can see how it juts out a little bit right here, okay? So we're going to take the A and B part and we're going to connect it to the A and B part of the front head, okay? So you can see we have A and B. So this is what it will look like. We've got the pretty side together, right? The right side. So I like starting with the points, okay? So you're gonna take the points and you're just gonna bring it along and pin it into place. And then you have the middle of the head. So the middle of the head is going to end right where this juts out, okay? So here we have it all pinned together. So go ahead and sew this side together, and then we will go ahead and pin the other one. So make sure you end the center of the head needs to be sewn. So you're going to sew right to the center of the head. Remember to do your 1/4 of an inch around, okay? Okay, so now you're going to join the two back parts of the head by sewing the seam at the center back. So when you're looking at your pattern, the piece that you cut, so here's the round part. We are going to sew the straighter one, okay? So we're gonna, turn it so it looks the same as theirs, okay? So you can see this part is flat, and then this part is a straighter one, okay? So just make sure you have your piece laying down like that. Make sure the right sides are together, and you're gonna sew a back stitch and end at the bottom. So this pattern was made so that you can sew a 1/4 of an inch around the whole entire thing. So, and if you remember to do a 1/4 of an inch, then everything will line up just right, okay? Now that it's sewn together, you're going to open it up, and then you're going to take the other side, and the same thing, we're going to take our A and our B. So this is the A and this is the B. On this side, it's the rounded side. And we're going to take them and we're going to pin them on to this, okay? So we see this is the back of the head, so this is what we're pinning it to, okay? So we're gonna put the right sides together, and we're going to, again, start at the point, and then we're gonna move along and pin it, okay? So make sure you've got the points together, and then we're gonna go all the way down until we're at the very center. So go ahead and pin that together. Okay, so here I have it all pinned. So I'm gonna start sewing right up here. I'm gonna back stitch right here and come along and end and back stitch right at the point over here, okay? So when you are done, this is what it's gonna look like with those two pieces. See, it's kind of crisscrossed at the top. So on the front side, it's gonna look like this, and then you're going to poke it out like this, and you're gonna see how it's going to round it out, okay? So if you want to, you can finger press it open. That will help it to lay flat, okay? So that's one of the things that you can do. Okay, so we are gonna continue working on the front of the head. So these little dashes right here are to form a dart, okay? To make a dart, you're going to take, this is the piece that we've just sewn. So here's one that I did, right? So we're going to take the front of the head, and we're going to fold it in half, line up the seams with each other right here. And so it's a point right in the center. Okay, go ahead and crease it. So when you look at the dart, it comes down about an inch. So you're gonna come down about an inch, and you're gonna start here, and then you're going to sew out about that far, okay? And if you aren't sure about it, then grab the original pattern piece, and you can see about how far it is. You can lay it against it, and you can measure it, okay? So this was originally right here in the center, right? And then you can take it down, and you can see that it's about right here, okay? And then you can see that you sew it about that. about that far. Okay, so go ahead and sew from here to here and then come on back. Okay, now we're ready to sew the neck part. Okay, so we've got the rounded part of the head. So this is gonna continue around. So we've sewn right here. Now we're going to sew these pieces together from B to C. Okay, so let's sew the neck part and then we'll come back. Here is the neck part. It's all sewn. Okay, so, and we've already done the dart. So now our next part is we're going to number 13 on our instructions, okay? So it's not gonna look like this, which it does. We're going to trim down the seam allowances and make small cuts at the curve. Okay, so this is where we take our shears and we go along all of the edges, and that will help it to curve better. Okay, so when we are pinning the front of the head to the back of the head, we're going to pin the center of the front and where the dart is, and then we're going to pin the ends, this side and this side, and then we're going to work our way around one side and pin and work our way the other. Make sure you're rounding it good and make sure that you're checking both sides to make sure that it's pulled up so that when you sew that it's matching so that you won't have to sew again, okay? So just make sure you're checking both the top and the bottom that they're both matching. It's kind of tricky because it is round and you're gonna have to stretch it out a little bit. So you're going to start on one side and sew all the way around, and then you're going to back stitch once you get to the end, okay? Once you do that, turn it right side out and then come back and I'll show you how to connect the head to the body. One thing that's gonna help a little when sewing the head to the body is pinning down the front of the body and the back or the front of the head so that you don't sew over top of them too. So I pinned the two together so that it wouldn't keep creeping up when sewing. So you sew from side to side. Okay, once that's done, you take out the pin and then you can bring it up and you can see now that we've got the front of the head to the front of the body, just like that. Okay, so there you go. Okay, we're on step number 17. Now half of the head is sewn on and you have an opening at the back of the neck. We're going to stuff the body and the head and we're going to pack it as firm as we can. And then after that, I will show you how to close the opening at the neck by hand stitching. Okay, so go ahead and let's stuff our bunny. So in stuffing, I like to stuff the body first before the head, just because it's a bigger section and the head is all floppy and you don't want the stuffing to come out while you're trying to stuff the body. So go ahead and you're gonna stuff it all the way down, clear to the end of the legs, using your pencil if you have to, and then stuffing up the body. Do both legs first, and then you're going to fill up the body. And then after that, then we'll do the head. Okay, so we are going to use the ladder stitch. We're going to start by putting the needle inside, coming from the inside to the outside. And that way our tail will be tucked inside. Okay, so it's not seen. So tucked right inside. Okay, so then once we come down, we're going to come down to the bottom and then we're going to go up and then we're going to go to the top. We're going to try and make it so it's even. So you're okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and pull that. And then we'll go back up. Once we go up, then we're going to go underneath to the next spot. And then we're going to match it and go it together. So that we're just going to do that the whole entire way, okay? So we're going in and out, pulling it together. And then again, we're going to go in and out. And then pull it together and in and out. And then again, in and out. And then go back up to the top. Just doing little stitches from first the top, then the bottom. Okay, once you've gone over it twice, once one way and once another way, then you're going to tie it off. Just poke a hole from the bottom to the top, right next to where your thread's coming out. Pull it to get a little loop. Then you're going to stick your needle through the loop. And then you're going to pull it tight. And then once you've done that, you're going to stick your finger in it, wrap it around, and come through and do another. So you're doing a double knot. Stick your needle down where it's coming out. And then pull it tight. Pull it down to the end so that the knot can go to the end. Push the knot to the end. If it doesn't quite do it like it did that time, try it again. You're trying to get the knot to the bottom. So we'll try to get past that one. Okay, so once you've got your knot there, we want it to be hidden. So again, we're going to thread it through. So thread it through, pull it. So you're going to pull it as tight as you can and then cut it. So now your end is inside of the bunny again. Okay, so you have your bunny now all sewn together. Now what we have left are the eyes. We're going to look at where they're poking out a little bit. So about right here is where the eyes are going to be. And the nose will be right here at the tip. So now you have to decide, do you want to have a pink nose or a black nose? What color of eyes do you want? Do you want black eyes, blue eyes, green eyes? So now you need to get out embroidery floss. And we're going to, usually they have 6 strands. You're going to divide the 6 strands, and we're going to use three strands for embroidering the eyes and the nose. So go ahead and get that ready. So first we're going to tie an end, and then we're going to come up and then out. So you see the point of the nose right here. You can see how this comes down and this comes down. So this is where we're working to sew towards. So we're going to cover up this little knot that we made, and we're going to go back up towards the other one. And don't get the arm caught like I just did. Okay, and then we're going to go down to the point. So this little end is going to be snipped off so it can't be seen. Make sure you don't cut off your knot. Then we're going to go one more time to cover up as completely as we can. We're going to go all the way down to cover up where the knot is. And then I'm going to take it down, back down to where the point of the nose is, and then I'm going to come back up an even distance. So I'm looking there and go over. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay? And that will be the nose. Okay, so again, we're going to go halfway and come up. And then we're going to go the other, finish to the point. And then we're going to go down. So, and this is where we're going to be ending. And then to finish tying off, go all the way down to the very end, and then come down. So this time when we're finishing off, right, so we're gonna come around to the side just a teeny tiny bit, and then we're gonna come back right here, and then we're going to come in. So that was how you make a knot, but we're gonna make a double knot. So now we're gonna loop it around, come inside, and then we're gonna pull it, and we're putting our needle down where we want it to end. We want it to end right there at the tip. Okay, and then we don't want it to be seen, so now we're going to take it in, and then we'll go back up at the end of where the nose is, and then we will snip it. Okay, so if you want to make your nose a little bit bigger or smaller, you can sew a little bit up higher. It depends on how you want your nose to look. My nose is going to be a little tiny one. Okay, the next thing we need to do is look where we want the eyes. So there's little points on these right here and right here. And that's where I'm going to do them right across from each other. Okay, so if you want to put a pin in there, or you could be like, okay, I've decided that I'm going to do it right there, and it's across from right there. So when I did it last time, what I did is I actually drew a circle and then I embroidered inside of it. Let me bring you my other bunny we can look at. Okay, so you can see, so what I did is I drew a circle, and then I just started at the top, and then I just went through. Okay, so that's what we're going to do with our other bunny, is we're going to do the same thing. And you see that this nose was a little bit bigger. I just thought I would do a little bit smaller one this time. So you will have to decide how you want to do it. Okay, again with the eyes, you can see where these ones are. I did them on the side here and here. You could do them up higher. I just thought I would do this one a little bit different up higher, but you could put your eyes down lower like these ones are. So you decide. This is your bunny, and you need to decide where you want your eyes at. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but I drew a little circle on both sides. They're approximate. Okay, so once you do that, you need to decide what color of eyes do you want your bunny to have. Do you just want black eyes? Like this one just has black eyes, or do you think it would be fun? Oh, maybe we could do green eyes or blue eyes, or you know, you need to decide what color of eyes your bunny is going to have. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick to the black, and then again tie the knot, So I am going to begin my knot right in the center of the eye. So I'm going to come in, and then I'm going to go out to the top of my eye, like I said before. Okay, so here you've got the end right here, and then one thing that I like to do is to go over top of the string. So I hold it up, and then I will start. So one thing that you can do is just start at the very top, and you go towards the other one. You bring it through. See, it's going to cover up the end, and then when I'm all done, I will trim off the end. Okay, so this, all we're doing is we're trying to go right next to the other embroidery that you do. Okay. This is why I like to draw something, so I actually have a guideline of where I should be sewing. Okay, so this last one, I'm just gonna put it in, come out on the other side of my string, because I'm making my knot, right? So then I'm gonna pull it through, and then again I'll do a double knot by looping it around and sticking my needle down where I want to end, pulling it tight, and then I'm gonna come all the way underneath everything. I'm not putting it inside of the fabric, I'm just putting it underneath all the thread, and then coming up by the other string. And that's again to hide my end. Okay, once I do that, then I'm going to grab my trusty little scissors, and we're going to trim off these ends as close as we can. Okay, so there we go. Now we have one of our eyes. Okay, so now we're just going to do the same to the other side. You can go ahead and do that on your own. Okay, so here we have our bunny. The eyes and the nose are finished. Now we are going to take our ears, and you decide which way is going to be the top and the bottom. If you have a different color, like this bunny has a different color, then what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that the pink, if you have pink, is going to be face down. You're going to make a crease, either with a finger crease or you can iron it. And then you're going to make sure that the pink side is facing down. Then you're going to take your bunny and you're going to position it. So you see you've got your line right here. Okay, so you see you're going to line it up on the line. Okay, so we're going to take this and we're going to, so I mean, and you decide, you could have it backwards like this, so it's totally behind it, or you could have it more to the side. So for me, I sewed right along the line, okay? So with the girl one, I did it sideways, so it was coming along. This one is going to be my boy bunny, and I'm going to have his ears coming more behind him like this. Okay, so I'm going to pin it on right there. So that it keeps it in place, and then I'm going to pin on the other one on the other side again, finger crease it, and then you put it down. Okay, so, and you could line them both up so they're both even. So you could use this middle line right here, do it right in the middle of the ears and then pin the other one down right here. Okay, so when you hold it out, then you've got it so the ears are going to be even. So it's good to look at it and adjust it before you go sewing it on. It's like, okay, do I like how it looks? And once you've got it the way you want it to look, then you're going to go ahead and thread your needle again with matching thread. And then we're just going to tie it at the end, and then we're going to start from behind and underneath, so the tail's back here, and then we're just going to do little loops around, tie it off, and pull it back. Tie it back behind. Okay, I will show that with you. I'll show that in a minute. Okay, so I just tied my knot, threaded, I came from behind to the front, and now I'm just going to do little loops. I'm grabbing some of the bottom and then coming to the top. And then, if I can hold on to it, and we're just going to do that over and over again until we finish tying on the whole entire, sewing on the whole entire ear. And just take tiny little stitches. Okay, so now we're going to tie it off. Go ahead and loop around. Then we're going to come around and we're going to stick the needle out the back and pull it back here, and then we're going to trim it off. Okay, so you can see that it's all sewn. Now you're going to go ahead and just do the same thing for the other side. Okay, then your bunny is going to be all done.